Hello, 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 Team Wilpers Run Challenge crew. My name's Justin Harris. Welcome to week number 3 of our holiday run challenge. We're going to get into a couple different things, checking into week 2, the current week you're in, talk a little bit about all access, dig into week 3, and to really go into unloading and the sponge analogy. All right. If you're new here, okay, maybe you're just joining in, maybe this is the first time you're actually watching it. All right, this is where we go over what's to come and to dig into some topics. But in order for the challenges to really work, you can do them on your own, but there's a massive community on our Facebook page. So you can join Team Wilpers, and then you can join the sub page Team Wilpers Running. We also have a cycling one. We have cycling challenges as well. And right now we have a group coaching model uh, getting going and started on the cycling side. So be sure to follow us at Team Wilpers on Facebook and Instagram, and tag us with your challenges stuff on Instagram and Facebook. All right, we like to repost it, see what everyone's doing. And if you want to follow me, my name is Justin Harris, J Harris Coaching on both platforms. All right, so let's dig into it. All right, so week number 2, all right, I have Power Hills here. And what I want to talk about is this idea of training within inside ourselves. All right. Often in the challenges and in my entire coaching career, I've coached hundreds of people over many disciplines from sprinting to ultra running. I've had success in helping people get to the Olympics. That was really pretty cool. And win national titles and all kinds of conference championships and different stuff, right, in running. But what I really come to see is that people who have confidence end up engaging and executing with the process in a much more sustainable way, meaning they're not overdoing it. They're not reaching above and beyond to kind of this no pain, no gain attitude. All right. So the power hills are opportunity. They're going to be recycled one more time. I know I said I was not going to try to do too many of the same sessions, but it's, down in the next block, I think week number 5 or something like that. So consider this your first taste with power hills. All right. So the speed I gave you guys, half marathon pace or whatever, it just really depends on the incline. So maybe listen to this, you can kind of reflect on how your session went. Did you feel really whooped, your butt whooped the next day? Were you really sore the next day? Maybe you reduce the incline and leave the speed, or maybe you leave the incline and reduce the speed. So there's a couple different ways that you can go about it. Okay. So what you're also seeing this week is over unders for threshold, which you've probably already seen. We're not trying to take a big bite there. We're just trying to have a really high end aerobic or low end threshold, which is tempo, chunk by doing, threshold and tempo and zone 2. So net, we get a little taste of all the kind of 3 different zones, and it makes the sessions go by nice and efficient. But again, the whole point of this run challenge, the holiday run challenge, the vision, the client we had in mind are parents who are busy, and family things and work things and kid things are coming onto your plate. And we want to make this challenge super effective, efficient, and give you a big bang for your buck in 30 or 45 minutes during the week and longer long runs on the weekend. Okay. So in order to get the most out of us, though, you really need to consider the all access plan. And so what that is it gives you the opportunity to have your challenge individualized to you a little bit more. So we have a strength plan that's included in the all access. You can toggle your difficulty level, so you can make it more difficult or you can make it easier with walk jogging. And then you have access to our other training plans, right? So you can start with the challenges and then progress to the training plans or a consultation with one of our coaches, and even one-on-one coaching if you really want someone to help you with full schedule training. All right. Not exercising, doing things randomly, but really systematic way. We have fantastic coaches who produce results across many disciplines with a wide age range. So check that stuff out. Okay. But back to week 2 is this idea of, week one, we introduce a concept. Week two, we kind of pick up a little bit of volume or density. So with this, I'm not picking up the volume so much, I'm picking up the intensity. All right. And then week three, we unload, which we'll talk about. All right. This weekend, you also have a half marathon pace run for those doing 3 sessions. These are the 3 key sessions. All right. VO2 max, threshold, and long run. Okay. And I'm trying to give you the opportunity to kind of mix up a long run, have a little bit more intensity in there, and kind of keep some of the longer stuff going on with uh, density. So instead of having a ton of duration or volume, well, we don't have time for that. So if we're going to, we want the same kind of feeling though. So we can shrink the duration, but increase the intensity, and it's right back to where we want it. So I'm shrinking it. Don't add way more intensity and make it even more dense, even heavier than it needs to be. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. Now let's get on to week 3. Okay. So this week is an unloading week. I got a bone to pick with many of you. Unloading week is paramount for health and long-term success, which ultimately allows you to be more consistent, which allows you to perform at higher and higher levels. All right. Now, instead of being reactive to training, meaning we get injured and we have to see a PT, that is reactive. We get run down and then we get sick, that is reactive. We lose motivation. All right. So we have to back off. That's reactive. All right. And in training smarter, not harder, in order to train smart, we need to be proactive, or we don't need to be, but in Team Wilpers, that is our philosophy, where we want to be proactive and ahead of it. So our one-on-one coaches, they're digging into this stuff all the time. So we want to give you a flavor in the challenges. All right. So with the challenges here on unloading week, all right. So week 1, we introduce a concept. Week 2, we pick up the density a little bit. Week 3, we back off a little bit. All right. It's similar to week 1, but you have the fatigue of week 1 and 2. So therefore it's a little bit different. Okay. All right. And so so we're going to back off a little bit. Now, I'm keeping easy and the default setting to be 30 minutes during the week, and the difficult setting 45. But what I'm doing is I'm backing off on the type of sessions that we're doing. So there's a little less intensity to bring the total density of training down. All right. This is the process that we follow. Okay. So instead of power hills, which are very dense, we're going to have speed play. So minute on, minute off. So we've done this for a while. If you're returning, if it's your first time here, you're just trying to run nice, strong, and smooth and in control. All right. Not all out, not sprinting, not flying off the back of the treadmill. We want to be strong, in control. And it's a great opportunity because it's a short duration thing, is that we can work on our technique. So we can be nice, tall, our chin tucked down, shoulder set back. All right. Pelvis rotated forward so we can get good knee drive, knee lift, and relax face, relax hands. Okay. And so it's a great opportunity to work on these things. If you go all out, then we get all sloppy. We cross the center line, nose to belly button. We're punching that line and all over the place. Instead of driving forward, we're driving sideways. We're losing energy. Okay. So we're going to recycle that back in from other challenges. And it's honestly, for me and my coaching, that is like one of the base tools that we use, and we come recycle back, and allows people to kind of check back into things. So it should be a little reduced load because of it being less dense than the power hills from this week. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to do steady state. So it's basically marathon goal pace. If you never run a marathon, no biggie. All right. But it's a continuous effort. In order to be a continuous effort, the intensity can't be so high that you can't sustain it. All right. This is why the 20-minute test is super important, so that we can set your paces, and the paces, I can almost promise you, they're fairly accurate. All right. Even the easy stuff. All right. A lot of people take kind of the easy run and the marathon pace and be like, oh, I can run faster than that. Yes, you can, but that's not the point. Okay. So stay in the paces. I'd rather you be much smoother, unload the density. If it felt a little easier, then you're in the theme, you're engaging with the challenge. That's amazing. That's how you get results, because you stay healthy and you perform better at the end. Okay. All right. Then the last thing is we have a flat run. We did that in week 1. You're just being a little progressive. So how I view that is, the first little chunk, you kind of have a foot on the brake a little bit. And then the next chunk, you kind of have your foot off the brake, but not really on the gas. And the last chunk, we're putting our foot just on the accelerator, just a tiny bit. All right. And this allows us to be a little bit tactical about being progressive. We get another opportunity to work on the strategy, but we just don't make it as intense as some other things. Okay. So, global theme here, unloading. All right. To ensure that you are able to absorb the training that you've completed. In this plan, we are doing it based on density of workouts. And really, it's the intensity of the session. That's how we're controlling it. In other weeks, we reduce volume and intensity, or we just reduce volume and leave intensity. So there's all these things and different models and ways that we can go about it. But in this one, we're reducing intensity to reduce density. Density is frequency of training times duration of training times intensity of that training. All right. And they all compound to give you density. So these are the dials that we're tuning. All right. Sliding around to get the right sound that we're looking for. All right. I'm a little zazzy today. I don't know what that is. All right. So let's dig into why the unloading is important. And I'm going to give the sponge analogy. Maybe you've heard it before, but the sponge analogy with unloading means that we're referring to ourselves as a sponge. And if my phone is a sponge, all right, and a good sponge, a healthy sponge, we take it out of the package and then we use it and then it's wet. Well, a wet sponge can do some work. All right. It can be used, it can be worked. All right. It can clean stuff, it can do all these great things. Right. But a dry sponge is not so great. All right. And if we think of training on some days, if we have the sponge, we're going to squeeze it. All right. Every time we're training, we are squeezing, putting pressure on that sponge. And when we squeeze it, we lose some water. Okay. We're squeezing the water out of it. That's training. We're basically reducing from homeostasis, the natural place. If we don't touch it and it's in water, it's full of water. It's great. It's heavy. It can do good things. All right. Well, what we do is if you're doing 3 sessions, right, we are going to squeeze Monday. We're going to squeeze let go Tuesday. We're going to squeeze Wednesday. We're going to let go Thursday and Friday. And then we're going to squeeze Saturday. Right. That's a healthy sponge that can do it. Now, when we add 4 days, all right, we're going to squeeze it on Monday. We're going to let go on Tuesday. We're going to squeeze it on Wednesday. All right. Then we're going to let go just a little bit for an aerobic run with some striders. We're not totally let go. Friday, we really let go. We absorb what we've done. All right. A little bit. And then Saturday, we squeeze again. And Sunday, we let go. 5 days a week. All right. We squeeze Monday. We let go Tuesday. All right. We squeeze Wednesday. We let go a little bit on Thursday. We let go more to absorb stuff on Friday. Saturday, we squeeze it because of volume. And then Sunday, we are letting go quite a bit. That's why I always give a 30-minute run, make it super light and easy. All right. So the question is to squeeze or not to squeeze. That's the big question here. All right. And that is the art of training. All right. That is the procedural way of ensuring progressive overload is leading to a big outcome. All right. This is not exercising where you can pick any class you want to do and do it the way you want to do it. And you get random results that don't sustain for too long. Okay. So with all that said is see yourself, your body as a sponge. All right. And when we do a workout, we're squeezing it. And if you just keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and squeezing the sponge, what happens? Well, it dries out. And if we keep squeezing and squeezing and twisting and squeezing and using it, it rips. All right. The metaphorical rip with a sponge is you are ripping. All right. Either you're getting hurt, you're getting run down and sick, or you're losing any ounce of mojo or effort and motivation because you just beat yourself down. So when you're looking at training, you really want to follow the principle of progressive loading and unloading. And that's why this week is super key. Yes, it's only a 6-week plan. That's 2 3-week blocks. We're going to load one more time to ensure performance at the very end of the program. And as you stack these free challenges together, it gives you opportunity to have a little bit long-term development. But we got some things up our sleeve maybe. And we have one-on-one coaching and consultations on how to make it work for you. So I will hang out a little bit to answer some questions, but that is it for our athlete briefing number 3. Okay, so Claudia Hernandez. All right. Hi. Question: in all access, are the marathon program is going to be updated or the same as 2024? So that's a good question. My understanding is that, we have the plans in there, and we have different levels so that people can progress through. And once you get to advance, there's not much that you really want to be changing in the plan, because we've written it, we've used them, and we know that they work. So I will update people, or you can DM me and I can find out for sure. But I'm assuming that we're going to keep them the same as before. And in our one-on-one coaching, like, I have some templates I use with clients, and then I really individualize it to them, because I know how much fatigue they should have and when, how to fix things if they go wrong, client's busy or gets sick or different things. And at the end of the day, we just keep, refining those programs and whatnot. But with my clients, like, I'll run the same plan 2-3 times, because each time you know how to execute it better, you know what to expect, you know what the result is going to be. So if things change on that plan, or then you're going to be kind of lost in the sauce. Like, maybe it's new, or maybe it's just you, right? And so that's where one-on-one coaching comes in, and consultation. So, yeah. So in all access, depending on the levels, if you're advanced, if you want a little bit more specific coaching to really enhance that plan, look at our one-on-one coachings. We had a sale, Black Friday sale, $100 off your first month. We can't coach you in 1 month, but you can get on that page to see what's going on there, and really dial it into you to see what your strength is and what your area for growth is. So we try to keep strengths, and then slowly work over area growth over, from training build to training build. And so maybe you're a high responder to VO2 max and you need more volume, or maybe you're really good at volume and very consistent, but you're lacking some horsepower or VO2 max. So yeah. Anyway, any other questions? I appreciate that, Claudia, for asking. Okay. Excellent. Okay. I think that's it. All right. Well, everyone, you enjoy finishing up week number 2. Week number 3, we're trying to back off the density by decreasing intensity of the workouts. So pay attention to what's going on. Don't try to add more and put things in place of it. You're not benefiting yourself. When we're trying to let go of the sponge to absorb the training that you did, all right, you're just squeezing the sponge more. And so, although you feel like you're doing a better job and improving yourself, you're actually digging yourself a deeper hole to get out of later. So, embrace the challenge, follow the plan, and we'll see you on the flip side.